This is my video update on this Saturday afternoon, December the 2nd. Let's talk about what is happening in the world today. And let's start things off with a statement from the Russian Defense Minister, Sergei Shoigu. He said that in the 6 months since Kiev launched its push against Russian defensive lines, it has lost over 125,000 troops and 16,000 heavy weapons. This is what Shoigu said during a ministerial meeting on Friday. 125,000 troops lost in the 6 months since the big, super duper counter-offensive. Wow. And 16,000 heavy weapons lost. I imagine that Shoigu is talking about total casualties and not KIAs. But still, that is a staggering, huge number. Even if you think that Shoigu is padding it up a bit, say he's bumping it up a bit, 20%, 30%, 40%, it's still a catastrophic number for the Ukraine military. And what did they gain? What did they gain from the counteroffensive? Nothing. Zero. They gained zero territory. And whatever little territory they did manage to capture or hold on to is just being erased right now by the Russian military. I think it all has been erased pretty much, except maybe like a village or two in Rabotino, and then you have this little bridgehead in Kherson, which the Russians are just allowing the Ukraine military to feed soldiers into this bridgehead across the river in Kherson. I mean, that's it. That is it. They gained absolutely nothing and lost. My God, they lost a lot. An incredible number revealed by Shoigu. And then Shoigu said that Kiev's military has been significantly degraded, while Russian forces are taking a more advantageous position and widening the zone under their control on all fronts. Yeah, Russia is absolutely taking advantage, but they're not going on the offensive just yet. They're in active defense, I think Shoigu said. I know Putin said that about like 2 weeks ago during an interview. He said that the Russians are in active defense. So the Russians haven't even started yet. They haven't even started. They're still playing defense. They're still grinding down the Ukraine military and annihilating the Ukraine military on all fronts. And they're building up their military. Russia continues to build up their military. Putin signed on Friday an executive order increasing the size of the armed forces for Russia by 170,000 members, effective immediately. Get this. The order establishes the size of the armed forces of the Russian Federation at 2.2 million personnel, of which 1.3 million would be under arms. It's a huge military. A combat-ready military. A military that's seen action, that's professional military. Wow. That's huge numbers. Huge numbers there. Elensky, he gave an interview to the Associated Press. I'm still thinking 2.2 million, 1.3 active. Anyway, Elensky, he gave an interview to the Associated Press the other day, and he pretty much admitted that Ukraine is taking a defensive position and has pretty much retreated from whatever they were doing during the counter offensive. That's what Elensky told the Associated Press. It's once again Elensky's way of admitting defeat without saying we lost. he said to the Associated Press, look, we are not backing down. I'm satisfied. That's what he was quoted as saying. Basically saying that Ukraine is just taking defensive positions and they're not backing down. At least they're not backing down, he said. So Zelensky's satisfied with that. By the way, his wife gave an interview to The Economist, and she told The Economist, where is it? She said, I don't want him to run for the next presidential term or for 2 terms. That is impossible. Probably we will be forced to come up with something new. So she was asked about Elensky staying on as president of Ukraine. I don't know why she's concerned about him running for a 2nd term when the elections have been canceled. Zelensky himself has said that there are not going to be elections in March 2024, but she said, I don't want him to run for another term or for 2 terms. She doesn't want him to be president anymore. And then when the person interviewing her asked her, well, what do you want to do? What do you want him to do? She was like, I want us to do something creative, like something in entertainment or business entertainment or something like that. Keep in mind that I think she was his script writer, I believe, on his TV shows. And I guess she's saying that she would like to get back in the business or to do something creative. I don't know, write a screenplay for a movie or something. Call up Sean Penn, put together a film. I need ammo. Not all right. Taking on the Putin, starring Elensky. But yeah, I thought that was an interesting statement from Elensky. She also said that when everything wraps up, or when Elensky is not president anymore, she's like, I just want to go on like a 1-month holiday. Just want to go disappear somewhere. I don't know. How does Zelensky get out of this mess? How can he just walk away at this point in time? How do you do that if you're Zelensky? How do you just take your family on a holiday somewhere to the Maldives or to Cyprus? I don't know, to Greece. How do you do that if you're Zelensky? I mean, I don't understand the thinking there. But anyway, she's basically saying to Elensky, get out. I think that's what she's saying. Get out now. Get out now. Let's go to Hollywood. We can take a month holiday in Hawaii. We can write a screenplay. We can call up Sean Penn. We can call up Clooney and Angelina Jolie, and we can put together some sort of film. We have the money to fund it. God knows we have the money to fund 100 films. And, that's basically what she's saying. Get out now. But if you're Zelensky, I don't think there's any getting out at this point in time. Maybe he had an opportunity to get out 6 months ago, a year ago, I don't know. But now, I don't think there's any getting out. I'll tell you someone who wants to get out. Poroshenko. Poroshenko tried to leave Ukraine the other day. The former president, the chocolate king, Porky Poroshenko, the man who, under Biden's orders, started the war with Donbass, started shelling Donbass. And he's a billionaire oligarch, has like a chocolate factory and stuff like that. And he's part of the parliament, by the way. And I think he's part of like a different party, not Servants for the People, Servant of the People. He's part of a different political party that Elensky has allowed to exist, for now at least. But he tried to escape to Poland. He said he had some business to do in Poland, and he tried to get out of Ukraine, and they would not. Alex, come on, time for a coffee. They would not let him leave. Ukraine authorities would not let him leave. The border guards would not let him leave. Poroshenko said on his Telegram channel, I have a business trip signed by the chairman of the Rada, but the border guards did not let me through. Everyone can guess who canceled the document signed by the Speaker of the Parliament. What happened today at the border is not a minor mischief. This is anti-Ukrainian sabotage and a blow to Ukraine's defense capability, Poroshenko insisted. According to Poroshenko, he had dozens of meetings planned in Poland and the U.S. trying to end the Polish trucker blockade and get Republicans in the American Congress to secure more funding for the Ukrainian military. Yeah, come on, Porky. Come on, Chocolate King. That's not what you were planning to do. Methinks that you wanted to escape to Poland. I don't know, maybe meet with the Polish authorities who aren't so fond of Elensky at the moment, or maybe meet with American authorities who aren't so fond of Zelensky at the moment, and maybe discuss with them possibly you sneaking into to be president, or maybe seizing power or something like that. I don't know. That would be my guess. Maybe like a little coup d'état, a chocolate covered coup d'état of Elensky. Maybe not. Maybe Poroshenko really did want to go to Poland, and then the trucker strike, which is now not only a Poland trucker strike, it's a Slovakia trucker strike, and a farmer, not a strike, a blockade. It's a Poland trucker blockade, a Slovakia trucker blockade, and a farmer blockade. So yeah, you're going to have to talk to Poland, you're going to have to talk to Slovakia, you're going to have to talk to the truckers, you're going to have to talk to the farmers. Good luck with that, Porky. That's going to be Poroshenko. That is going to be quite a challenge. But that's what he says he was going to do. And then he was going to talk about, to the Americans, to talk about securing more money and more weapons. Yeah, right. He was up to no good. Elensky got wind of it, and he wasn't allowed to leave. That's what I think was going on. But who knows? Who knows? Maybe he just wanted to go to Poland to, I don't know, to open up a chocolate shop or something. I don't know. Anyway, let's see. So that's the deal with Poroshenko. I can't talk today on this Saturday. And it didn't take long for CNN to blame the poisoning of Budanov's wife, Mariana Budanov, to blame it on Russia and on Putin. CNN, they started reporting yesterday that Russia did it. They have no evidence, nothing, nothing, no evidence, nothing. But they know that Russia did it, and they say that Putin has a history of poisoning. So CNN is reporting that Russia was behind the poisoning of Budanov's wife with heavy metals. I think she's going to be okay. From what I understand, she's going to be fine. Which I guess, if she's going to be okay, I guess that could point to Putin, to be honest, to be fair, because Putin is the worst poisoner on the planet. Navalny, the Skripals, everyone that Putin poisons lives, it seems. Thank God. Thank God. I don't want anyone to suffer. But maybe that does point to Putin, the fact that she's going to be okay. Last I read, she was going to be okay. But wow, CNN, they've cracked this case. It was Russia, it was Putin. It didn't take long. How does CNN know that Putin did it? Just because they know. Because Putin poisons people. Putin poisons everybody. Let's shift gears and talk about statements that Lavrov made at the OSCE. And Lavrov, he said that, from what I understand, Blinken and Jungle Joseph Borrell, they were at the OSCE, but just for like a little bit, and then they took off. And Lavrov, he gave a speech yesterday. He gave a press conference as the OSCE meeting wrapped up in Skopje. And he said that Blinken and Borrell chickened out of talking to Russia. The two Western officials did not want to discuss the denial of access to international events to Moscow's diplomats, the foreign minister said. So he called Borrell and Blinken chickens. Are you chickens? That is what Lavrov basically said. Are you guys chickens? Like Back to the Future? with Marty McFly, and they always get Marty McFly to mess up by calling him a chicken. Biff calls him a chicken. What are you, Marty McFly? A chicken? So yeah, Lavrov is calling out Blinken and Jungle Joseph, and yeah, they are chicken. Actually, of course, they don't want to debate Lavrov. Who wants to debate Lavrov? You're going to lose. You're going to lose to Lavrov, and they know it. They absolutely know it that they're no match for Lavrov. So yeah, they run away. They ran away. They can get Annalena to debate Lavrov. Annalena 720i. Anyway, Lavrov also said that there are going to be no talks, no diplomatic settlement to the conflict in Ukraine. He said, and I quote, "It takes two to start a political process, like in the tango. But the guys on the other side are not dancing tango. They are breakdancing. There you all have to go solo." Can you imagine Elensky breakdancing? Actually, I can see Elensky breakdancing. I can see him breakdancing. Check out this move. I could see Elensky like at some square in some European city and just like a crowd around him. And I could see him breakdancing with a hat where people can put money in the hat. I can definitely see it. Oh boy, Lavrov, man, Lavrov, that guy, he is awesome, no doubt about it. So Lavrov, Elensky saying no talks. That's what he told the Associated Press. Lavrov is saying there's not going to be a diplomatic settlement. But you have an article which came out the other day from Seymour Hersh, which claims that there are talks going on in Ukraine, and it's general to general. I think that's actually the title of Seymour Hersh's article, general to general. And Hersh is claiming, according to an anonymous source, I believe it is an anonymous source, that Gerasimov, the Russian top command, is in talks with Zelensky, Ukraine's top command, the guy that blew up Nord Stream, according to the collective West media. And they're in talks without Elensky knowing, without Elensky being briefed on anything. And they're in talks to wind down this conflict. Now, I could believe this. I could believe this reporting, that generals to generals may be talking, right? But I think there's one statement from this anonymous source of Seymour Hersh, which to me tells me that this is fictitious. This is not good information, my opinion. And let me read it to you, and you'll understand what I mean. You'll understand what I mean here. So Hersh claims, with reference to an anonymous U.S. official, that the issue of possible fixation of borders along the current front line with the retention of Crimea and the occupied territories of the DPR, LPR, Kherson, and Zaporozhye regions of the Russian Federation is allegedly being discussed. In exchange, an option is being considered in which Ukraine can join NATO, but with the obligation that the alliance will not station troops or offensive weapons there. The American official said that Elensky was made to understand that it was not him, but the military that would solve this problem, and negotiations would continue with or without you. If necessary, we will pay for your trip to the Caribbean, the American official told me, wrote Hersh. So maybe that's the trip that Zelensky is talking about, the 1 month trip to the Caribbean. Maybe that's how Elensky disappears. I mean, Gerasimov, I don't see Gerasimov negotiating, to be quite honest, my opinion. I don't think that's what he does. Could I see generals talking? Yeah, I could see that, general to general discussing things, but I don't think that's how Putin or Russia operates. And to me, the thing that gives it away that I don't buy this, that I think this is just wrong information from this anonymous official, this anonymous source, is where he says that one of the terms will be that Ukraine can join NATO. but with the obligation that the alliance will not station troops or offensive weapons there. Sorry, that's where this report loses me. There is no way under any conditions, under any circumstances, that Ukraine would be allowed to enter NATO, even if they promise no NATO troops and no exercises. I mean, Ukraine becoming a member of NATO in whatever form, it's a non-starter. It's a non-starter. Maybe a Ukraine government in exile being part of NATO, but I mean, okay, but no, I think making an agreement where you allow, like if you're the Putin administration, making an agreement where you allow Ukraine into NATO, I think would be the end of your administration, period. Even if Ukraine promises and NATO promises no exercises, yeah, right. Like NATO will honor any agreement, any treaty, any promise. No chance. That's, to me, that fact alone, like I could see general to general, yeah, I could see that maybe. Even though I don't think that's Gerasimov's role, position, style. It just doesn't strike me as what Gerasimov does. Gerasimov is like the most badass like general, but I don't think he's there to negotiate. Zelensky, I could see Zelensky negotiating. That I could see if you believe that Zelensky exists. But no, they lose me on NATO. This report from Hirsch loses me on the NATO point. I don't know. What do you guys think? You think this is possible? Or do you think maybe this is some bad info? Maybe this is info meant to mislead. Maybe it's meant to cause panic with Elensky. Maybe the source is feeding this to Hirsch so that, you know, Elensky reads it and it causes panic with Zelensky. Maybe it's meant to cause division in Russia. Maybe that's what this is meant to do. Maybe this is about, you know, the article going to Putin and maybe Putin saying, "What's Gerasimov doing?" Though I doubt that. I think that this may be about creating some sort of panic between Elensky and Zelensky. Zelensky's like, you know, what's this from Seymour Hersh? What's this anonymous U.S. official telling Seymour Hersh that NATO is that Zelensky is talking to Gerasimov? What is this? That would be my explanation. But because they want Elensky gone. There are forces in the Biden White House that want him gone. But I don't know. Let me know in the comments down below what you think this is all about. The funding of Project Ukraine. We're getting more reports about how there really isn't EU money to fund Project Ukraine. Even though the EU says they've got the money, it looks like they don't. The Telegraph is reporting that Germany is seeking to reduce the amount it gives to a 20 billion euro European Union fund for weapons for Ukraine. A document leaked to the Daily Telegraph on Friday revealed. The title of this article is Germany seeks to reduce amount it gives to 20 billion euro EU fund for Ukraine. Leaked document reveals. Yeah, because Germany's broke and in recession. So Germany is talking a big game. We're going to take on Russia. We're going to destroy Russia. We're going to defeat Russia. We're going to get regime change in Russia. Putin bad. We're going to build an awesome military. We're going to be the best military in Europe, the strongest military in Europe. That's what Germany is saying, right? We're going to increase our funding from 4 billion to 8 billion. And they're talking all this smack, but behind the scenes, Olaf Scholz, it looks like Olaf Scholz is telling Ursula, you know, maybe our participation in this 20 billion euro fund, maybe we could lessen it a bit, lower it a bit. Yeah, Orban, he is the one voice of reason. Well, the one of two voices of reason, maybe one of three voices of reason. Orban, Fico, and maybe Geert Wilders. We'll see. But Orban, he has a good idea, actually. I think this is a great idea for the European Union. Orban is basically saying, look, as the EU, let's stop sending money to Ukraine. The EU should not decide to send money to Ukraine. You know, the money they get from EU member states. The EU should not say, okay, well, you know, this year we've taken from EU member states 50 billion. I'm just putting a number out there, 50 billion. And as Ursula, I want to give Ukraine 20 billion. Orban's saying, no, let's not do that. What we should do is we should create a pot, a fund, right? And whatever countries, we'll call it the Ukraine pot, the Ukraine fund, the Elensky fund, and whatever countries want to put money into that fund, go ahead. Whatever countries don't. And each country can decide. So Greece, Mitsotakis can go to the Greek people and he can say, people of Greece, I want to give Zelensky 5 billion euros. Are you guys okay with that? And the people of Greece can decide. And then they could, you know, put that money in this Zelensky fund and it'll go to Ukraine. Orban will ask the people of Hungary, do you guys want to give Zelensky 1 billion euros or 2 billion euros? The people of Hungary will say, F no. And that'll be that. I think that's a much better idea than the EU deciding what money to give to Zelensky. All right, let's do a quick update on the Israel-Gaza war, which has started again. And yesterday was a horrific day in Gaza. Let me just read you what Zero Hedge is reporting here. Israel pounds southern Gaza as officials say long war expected for a year or more. All hell has broken loose on the first day of renewed fighting in Gaza post-truce. A UNICEF spokesperson said of the Friday bombardment, the nightmare for people today just somehow got so much worse. Already, Palestinian sources have said that over 100 have been killed in the last hours of IDF bombing of the Strip. Israeli media is reporting that at least 50 rockets have been launched from Gaza into southern Israel. The aerial campaign has even expanded to include the southern half of the Strip, after throughout the early phase of the conflict, Gazans were told to abandon their homes in the north and flee south for safety. So the Times, the Times UK, they put out a tweet, an article with the title, Palestinian official claim death toll reaches 3 figures in a single day as attacks renew. And the Financial Times, they are reporting that that Netanyahu is indeed planning for a long war, which could reach over the next year or more. Let me read you a bit from this FT article, which is behind a paywall, but Zero Hedge, they put a summary here of what the FT is saying. Israel is planning a campaign against Hamas that will stretch for a year or more, with the most intensive phase of the ground offensive continuing into early 2024, according to several people familiar with the preparations. The multi-phase strategy envisages Israeli forces who are garrisoned inside North Gaza making an imminent push deep into the south of the besieged Palestinian enclave. The goals include killing the 3 top Hamas leaders, Yahya Sinwar, Mohammed Daif, and Marwan Isa, while securing a decisive military victory against the group's 24 battalions and underground tunnel network and destroying its governing capability in Gaza. This will be a very long war. We're currently not near halfway to achieving our objectives, said one person familiar with the Israeli war plans. Israel's overall strategy for Gaza is flexible, with timing dictated by multiple clocks, including operational progress on the ground, international pressure, and opportunities to free Israeli hostages, the people said. So that's from the Financial Times. A long war is what they are saying, which basically means that whatever diplomacy Blinken was up to the other day failed. If that was indeed the goal, if Blinken really was trying to push Israel to abandon military activity, not only in the north, but now in the south of Gaza, and to try and extend the ceasefire and find an off-ramp, if that was what the Biden White House was looking to achieve, well then, it looks like Netanyahu told Blinken to buzz off, which wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me, because everywhere the Biden White House has gone in the Middle East, they've been snubbed and mocked, and no one's listening to them on all sides. On all sides, no one's listening to the Biden White House. That's the way it looks. So a horrific day for the people of Gaza yesterday, and the world is not going to be able to stomach this. That's my feeling. The more images come out and the videos come out of renewed bombing of Gaza, this is not going to be good for Israel and Netanyahu. But I think Netanyahu he's decided that he needs to keep this war going, and then he's got the hawkish faction, which is all for it as well. So if the Biden White House, if there is indeed a part of the Biden White House which wants to find an off-ramp because Biden is, at least for re-election purposes, for polling support reasons, the Biden White House is sinking. These people like Jake Sullivan and possibly even Blinken, the people that may want to try to find an off-ramp, looks like Netanyahu's having none of it. NBC News, here's what NBC News wrote. Dissent and a generation gap inside the Biden administration over the Israel-Hamas war. When civilians began dying in Gaza, said one U.S. official, we all know the tools they used to kill them, referring to Israeli weapons supplied by the U.S. This is an article from NBC News. I mean, the collective West mainstream media, the U.S. mainstream media, which has supported Biden on everything, they're starting to I don't want to say turn on the Biden White House, but they're definitely turning on Netanyahu. They're definitely turning on Netanyahu in a big way. I mean, the New York Times, they put out an article yesterday, and they said that the Netanyahu government knew of Hamas's attack a year in advance. And you know why that article was put out by the New York Times. I think that Blinken and the Biden White House, they put out articles like this via the New York Times in order to pressure Netanyahu, to embarrass him, to discredit him, and to pressure him. But even NBC News is saying that the Biden White House is in deep trouble. Let me read you a little bit, just a couple of paragraphs. The Biden administration is facing growing internal dissent over its support for Israel's military assault on Hamas in Gaza, reflecting a wider debate in American society and a generational divide among Democrats over the issue. The extraordinary scope of the dissent inside the government, including statements in open letters from government employees, goes beyond anything seen in previous administrations, dating back to the 1980s, including during the Iraq War and President Donald Trump's restrictions on travel from mainly Muslim states. Former officials said, "It's remarkable and it's unprecedented," said Aaron David Miller, a senior fellow at the Carnegie Endowment for the International Peace think tank, who worked at the State Department from 1978 to 2003. I've never seen anything like it. A fracturing in the Biden White House, a fracturing in the Democrat Party, Biden's polling numbers continuing to sink, and it seems like there's nothing they can do outside of putting out articles to try and embarrass and shame or pressure Netanyahu. But Netanyahu is like, I don't care, All right, we're doing okay on time. Let's maybe we do one or two more stories. We can do a quick clown world. So the retail giant, Walmart, they're going to be boycotting X. They're going to be pulling their advertising from X. That's what they said. We found some other platform better for reaching our customers, a Walmart spokesperson said, explaining the decision. The other companies that have left Twitter X are Apple, Coca-Cola, Disney, and now Walmart. So the big companies are leaving X, obviously, to put pressure on Elon Musk so that they can try to get X back into the hands of people that are not free speech, people that are easily controlled by the government. That's what this is really all about. It has nothing to do with far right or anti-Semitic posts or stuff like that. Nothing to do with any of that. This has to do with the fact that Elon bought Twitter X, and for the most part, he's kept it free speech, for the most part. And they don't like that. They don't like the fact that they don't control all of the social media platforms. So Walmart can advertise on Facebook, even though I don't know, does anyone even use Facebook? Or maybe they can advertise on Facebook Threads to all 5 people that use Facebook Threads, the Twitter clone from the Zuck bot. But Elon Musk, he did announce yesterday that he is going to target. For advertising, he's going to target small to medium-sized businesses. I think I mentioned that in my video a couple of days. That's the strategy. If it's just, at least for advertising, forget about the big multinationals, the big companies. Forget about them. Go after the small and medium-sized businesses. Absolutely, it's a great strategy, and it's a great opportunity for small to medium-sized businesses to reach people. I think it's a great opportunity for them. They'll probably get in at very good prices for the ads. So that's what's happening. You got to keep Twitter X going. It's important. You can see they're going after Twitter X, and that means that they're pissed off at the way Twitter X is allowing all that freedom, all that free speech to go down. They don't like that. So let's see. Brazil's going to be part of BRICS. That's a huge part of Brazil's going to be part of BRICS. You see, and I'm messing up a lot today. Yesterday I said fragrant violation, but you know, that was what the article wrote. It said fragrant. It should have been flagrant, but it said fragrant violation. I was just reading what the article was saying with regards to Zakharova and Bulgaria. Blocking the plane in Bulgarian airspace. And everyone's like, fragrant violation. A violation that smells good. But Brazil is in BRICS. It's the B in BRICS. Brazil's going to become a member of OPEC Plus. OPEC Plus. I even have it written down here. Brazil's going to be a member of OPEC Plus in January. Huge news. Absolutely huge news. If Nigeria joins joins BRICS, if Nigeria joins BRICS, Brazil joins OPEC Plus, who's going to be controlling energy around the world? Who's it going to be? I mean, I think we see where everything is going. On the subject of energy, I'm trying to segue into this. We have the COP28 summit, the environment, green energy, climate change, whatever, Earth is freezing, inconvenient truth summit, whatever, the COP28 summit taking place. I think it's in Dubai. And we had thousands of private planes land in Dubai. And they're going to talk about climate change and stuff like that. But Lukashenko, I really like Lukashenko. He gave a speech. Lukashenko, man. He gave a speech at the summit and he said, the speakers who spoke first talk about peace, talk about a clean planet. They say they care for the grandchildren, and yet they have started and are waging the scariest wars on the planet. Lukashenko, man. Well said. Well said, Lukashenko. Well said. The Wall Street Journal is saying that the Biden administration is going to be slapping tough new regulations on oil and gas operations to prevent methane leaks. They're going to prevent methane leaks. They're going to cut down on nitrogen and cut down on carbon, and eventually they're going to try to find a way to cut down on oxygen as well. for all of us, cut down on our oxygen intake. That's what they're going to end up doing sooner or later. Anyway, let's check out the cool cars. Cars are featuring very prominently in my videos all of a sudden, huh? So the final clown world is that Putin's dolphins, his weaponized dolphins, it looks like that storm that hit Crimea the other day, according to the Daily Mail. Putin's dolphin warfare squadron is washed away by storm that hit Crimea. So Putin has lost his dolphins force that was protecting Crimea, washed away by the storm. All right, everybody, let's see the cars real quick. That's it for the news. Classic cars. Do not touch. The Duran.locals.com. We are on Rumble, ODYSEE, BitChute, Telegram. Let me grab the camera here. Telegram, Rockfin, Twitter X. Go to the Duran shop. 20% off. I'm wearing my Portugal shirt. I don't know if that came out well on the video. 20% off. Use the code ETHEREUM20. Let me know, which car do you guys like of all these classic cars? BMW. I don't know, man. I'm loving this Jaguar, to be honest. That's a nice looking car. That is nice.